Chapter 2799. In Lu Ming's dantian, a light spot became brighter and brighter. In the end, a flame appeared. The divine mysterious fire was successfully condensed. In Lu Ming's dantian, the sixth divine fire appeared. Of course, this divine fire had just been condensed and was still very weak. If he wanted to increase it to the same size as the other divine fires, he would need a period of diligent cultivation. This was not something that could be rushed. At this point, Lu Ming stopped cultivating. He began to cultivate the divine skill, the apocalyptic 3 strikes. Because after a series of battles, Lu Ming felt that the apocalyptic 3 strikes was about to break through. Lu Ming took out a long spear and began to cultivate in the courtyard. Swoosh, swoosh. The long spear danced like a real dragon swimming in the courtyard. However, the power was completely condensed into the long spear and did not leak out at all. Sky-piercing, moon-slashing. Lu Ming performed the first and second moves of the 3 strikes of annihilation over and over again, taking turns to perform them. Gradually, Lu Ming's comprehension of the 3 strikes of annihilation reached a peak. A few days later, swoosh, Lu Ming shook the long spear, and the spear streaked across the sky. A crescent-shaped spear light flew into the sky and disappeared. I broke through. Lu Ming's eyes were extremely bright. Lu Ming finally broke through to the 5th level of the apocalyptic 3 strikes. After breaking through to the 5th level, whether it was the first move, sky-piercing, or the second move, moon-slashing, their power had increased by a level. Lu Ming was only a level 3 true god. It was absolutely amazing that he could cultivate the divine skill to the 5th level at this cultivation level. Ru Yu's cultivation level had been stuck in the true god realm for countless years, but he had only cultivated the divine skill to the peak of the 4th level. Those who were not talented enough could only cultivate the divine skill to the 4th level in the true god realm. Only a few extremely talented individuals would be able to reach a higher level. For example, Long Xian had cultivated the divine skill to the 5th level. Now, if I go all out, I might be able to defeat Long Xian. Lu Ming revealed a confident smile. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed as he looked in Qiuqiu's direction. At this moment, Qiuqiu was emitting a powerful aura. This aura was extremely shocking. Luckily, the residences of the inner disciples were protected by a formation that could isolate the aura. Otherwise, the aura would definitely have alerted the others. This aura is so shocking. Qiuqiu is breaking through to the 2nd layer of True God Realm. No, the 3rd layer of True God Realm. Sensing Qiuqiu's aura, Lu Ming was delighted at first, but in the end, he was shocked and his eyes widened. That was because Qiuqiu's aura was rising too quickly. Originally, Qiuqiu's cultivation was at the 1st level of the True God Realm. At this moment, he quickly rose to the 2nd level of True God Realm. After a while, he rose to the 3rd level of True God Realm, and then the 4th level of True God Realm. That was not all. Its aura continued to rise. 5th level True God, 6th level True God, all the way until he reached level 8 True God before he stopped. From the 1st level of True God Realm to the 8th level of True God Realm in an instant, this speed was even faster than riding a space battleship. It would be strange if Lu Ming wasn't dumbfounded. Lu Ming was tongue-tied, thinking that he was dreaming. At this moment, Qiuqiu finally reacted. It turned its round and chubby body. Its expression was glossy and shiny, giving off a crystalline feeling. A pair of eyes and a big mouth appeared on its body, revealing a satisfied expression. Qiuqiu, you broke through to the 8th level of True God Realm? Lu Ming asked. Yes. Suddenly, a figure rang in Lu Ming's mind. You can speak? Lu Ming was stunned. No, I'm talking to you with my mind, Qiuqiu said. Lu Ming was stunned and then nodded. Qiuqiu had such a high cultivation, it was normal for it to be able to communicate with him. One must know that in the heaven realm, demonic beasts of the martial king realm could speak. Qiuqiu was strange, but it was a true god realm after all. It was normal for it to communicate with its mind. 8th level of True God Realm, it actually broke through to the 8th level of True God Realm. That fragment of the Bronze Gate is too heaven-defying. Lu Ming was amazed. It was obvious that Qiuqiu had swallowed a small fragment of the Bronze Gate on the ancient god planet. That was why its cultivation had soared. It was just a small fragment, but Qiuqiu's cultivation had soared so much. If it swallowed the entire Bronze Gate, what realm would Qiuqiu reach? Would it directly reach the Divine King realm? Or even more? Lu Ming's heart was burning with excitement, but then he shook his head helplessly. He had asked around before and found out that the Bronze Gate had not been opened yet. Now, there were countless experts gathered at the Bronze Gate. There were even many Divine King realm experts. Moreover, the major sects and forces had invited a few array masters to study the array on the Bronze Gate. It was impossible for him to get close to the Bronze Gate. He could only think of a way in the future. Lu Ming, do you want to spar with me? Qiuqiu's voice sounded again. Two tentacles extended from its body like arms. It looked at Lu Ming with an arrogant expression. This guy is great. Come on, let's spar. Lu Ming laughed. He also wanted to know how strong Qiuqiu was after breaking through to the 8th level True God realm. Get ready. I'm afraid I'll hurt you. Qiuqiu's arrogant voice continued to sound. This guy is really confident. Lu Ming curled his lips and then circulated his divine power with all his might. The 6 divine fires in his dantian burned fiercely. Although the mysterious divine fire had just been formed, it still had some effect on Lu Ming's divine power. At the same time, Lu Ming activated the battle character formula and tripled his combat strength. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. Come on. Lu Ming stared at Qiuqiu. Swoosh. Qiuqiu's round body rushed towards Lu Ming. One of its arms rapidly changed into a big hammer and smashed towards Lu Ming. Rumble. The hammer smashed out and a violent explosion sounded in the air. What a strong power. As soon as Qiuqiu attacked, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He did not dare to be careless. Sky Piercer. Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear. Boom. A spear light collided with Qiuqiu's hammer, and a violent explosion sounded. Buzz. Lu Ming's long spear vibrated crazily. Lu Ming's body shook violently and flew out like a cannonball, crashing into the wall of the courtyard. Runes appeared on the walls of the courtyard, blocking Lu Ming's path. It was fortunate that the courtyard was protected by a large formation. Otherwise, the courtyard would have been destroyed by the explosion just now. Amazing, amazing. Lu Ming felt his arm aching. The web between his thumb and forefinger was cracked and blood flowed out. After a collision, Lu Ming was completely at a disadvantage. The power of Qiuqiu's move was extremely terrifying. It was definitely not weaker than Long Xian's all-out attack. Qiuqiu is only at the 8th level True God realm, but its power is so strong. Its power is probably comparable to that of a genius who controls divine-grade divine power. Lu Ming thought. Chapter 2800. In the past, Qiuqiu's strength was comparable to a prodigy with divine power. But now, it was even stronger. It was probably comparable to a prodigy with divine power. How is it? Amazing, right? Qiuqiu's proud voice rang out. Interesting. Let's try again. Lu Ming revealed a strong fighting spirit. He kept activating the battle formula, wanting to quadruple his fighting strength. Come, let me tell you. My strength is not limited to this. Qiuqiu waved its 2 arms, as proud as it could be. Boom. After dozens of activations, Lu Ming finally activated quadruple his fighting strength. Third strike of extinction, moon slashing. This time, Lu Ming really exerted his full strength and used the moon slashing move. With Lu Ming's current strength, he could probably suppress Long Xian if he used this move with his full strength. It was shockingly powerful. Whoosh! A crescent-shaped spear light slashed towards Qiuqiu. Here I come. Qiuqiu shouted and retracted its arms. Its round body spun rapidly and smashed towards Lu Ming. Clang! Another terrifying collision. The crescent-shaped spear light collided with Qiuqiu's body. At the moment of collision, the crescent-shaped spear light shook violently and then shattered. Then, Qiuqiu's body slammed into Lu Ming's spear. Lu Ming's spear shook violently. He felt a terrifying force surging towards him. It was as if he was hit by a planet. Lu Ming's body flew out again and crashed into the wall of the courtyard. Puff. This time, Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt as if all the bones in his body were about to break. Lu Ming, are you all right? Xiao asked with concern. I'm fine. This is just a small injury. What's the big deal? Lu Ming braced himself. How could he embarrass himself in front of Xiao? Xiao, is this all your strength? You're really powerful. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Xiao's strength was probably close to the heavenly god realm. It was truly astonishing. Even if he attacked with all his strength, he was still no match for it. Of course not. I still have a power that I haven't used yet, Xiao said proudly. With that, a sizzling sound came from its body as strands of lightning appeared. It's this kind of lightning. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This lightning was exactly the same as the lightning on the bronze door, except that it was much thinner. Lu Ming, do you want to try the power of my lightning? Xiao said as it blinked its large eyes. There was a hint of malice in its eyes. I'll give it a try then. Come on. Lu Ming was very confident in his own defense. With a thought, 9 ice chains flew out and wrapped around him. Then, 9 layers of golden red armor appeared on his body, fully armed. Are you sure you're ready? Xiao asked softly. Of course, cut the crap. Come, you can't hurt me. Lu Ming had a confident look on his face. Sizzle! Bolts of lightning emerged from Xiao's body and gathered into a bolt of lightning that was as thick as an arm. It charged at Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. In the next instant, the lightning struck Lu Ming. Then, a charred man with messy hair and smoking body appeared in the courtyard. Lu Ming, are you all right? You were the one who wanted to try it. Xiao said fearfully. I'm fine. How could anything happen to me? Lu Ming said through gritted teeth. He had never imagined that Xiao's lightning would be so powerful. His ice shackles and crimson golden armor couldn't withstand it at all. They collapsed in an instant. The terrifying lightning directly burned his entire body black. Xiao had probably shown mercy at the critical moment. Otherwise, he would have been in an even worse state. Amazing, amazing! Lu Ming immediately became excited. The power of Xiao's lightning was completely on par with that of a celestial god. Some of the weaker celestial gods probably weren't even this strong. The stronger Xiao was, the happier Lu Ming was. Lu Ming immediately took a divine pill to recover from his injuries. He then washed himself and changed into a new set of clothes. Lu Ming, are you there? At this moment, Yu Linglong's voice came from outside. She sounded rather worried. Xiao turned into a bracelet and wrapped it around Lu Ming's wrist. Lu Ming walked out of the courtyard. Lady Yu, what happened? Lu Ming asked. Lu Ming, it's bad. On high, Lu Chong and Zhao Feng have been beaten up, heavily injured. Yu Linglong said. Beaten up? Lu Ming's brow creased, a cold light flashing through his eyes. Who did it? Lu Ming asked. I don't know yet. I came to find you as soon as I heard the news. Zifeng went to see them first. Yu Linglong said. Let's go. Lu Ming stepped into the air and flew toward the residence of On Hai's group. Very soon, Lu Ming and Yu Linglong arrived at On Hai's residence. When they pushed the door open and entered, they could smell the stench of blood. On Hai, Lu Chong, and Zhao Feng were all present, but they were in very wretched states. Lu Chong and Zhao Feng were limp on the ground, their faces ghastly pale and their auras weak. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that all their bones had been broken. The most wretched was On Hai. Half of his body had been blasted apart, blood flowing everywhere. One could even see his organs. At this moment, Wu Zifeng was treating On Hai's wounds. Boss. At the sight of Lu Ming, On Hai struggled to bow to him. Don't move. Focus on healing. Lu Ming hurriedly stopped him, his eyes flashing with cold killing intent. The person who had done this was extremely vicious. If it weren't for the fact that they were in the Kongxian school and didn't dare to violate the rules of the school, On Hai and the others would probably already be dead. Even so, On Hai and the others had probably suffered quite a bit. Fortunately, On Hai and the others' injuries weren't fatal. With their divine bodies, they could recover very quickly. Several hours later, Lu Chong and Zhao Feng's bones had been reconnected, and their auras had stabilized. On Hai's shattered body was also rapidly healing as new flesh and blood grew out of it. Who did this? At this time, Lu Ming spoke coldly. On high, Lu Chong and Zhao Feng's expressions froze as they looked at each other. Boss, we're fine. Let's just forget about this matter. On high said, just forget about it? How can I just forget about humiliating my people? Will anyone in the Kongshin school take me seriously in the future? Lu Ming coldly said. He knew that On High and the others were thinking for him, but Lu Ming wouldn't just let it go. Who did this? Lu Ming asked again. Boss, let's just forget about it. On High tried to persuade Lu Ming to let it go again. In the name of the sacred sun, I demand that you speak. Who did this? Lu Ming's tone became even colder. On High's words came to an abrupt halt. In the end, On High sighed and said, Lu Feiyun did it. Lu Feiyun? Lu Ming froze. He had never heard of this name before. Chapter 2801. Lu Feiyun. He's from the Tenho Seiko faction. Lu Chong said. It's really the Tenho Seiko faction. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly, and his killing intent was as sharp as a knife. He had already guessed that the culprit was either the Tenho Seiko faction, Fuko Seiko faction, Holy Prince Jixia, or Holy Princess Xuetan. It must be one of them. You're courting death, Lu Ming said coldly. Boss, don't be rash. Lu Feiyun is a first-level heavenly god, and he's a capable subordinate of the great Hong Saint. He's extremely powerful, and Long Xian can't be compared to him. And Hai quickly said, First-level heavenly god? So what? Tell me his address. Lu Ming said in a commanding tone. The Tenho Seiko faction had supreme talents who had reached the heavenly god realm, but none of them had Saint-grade divine force. Being in the heavenly god realm and in control of Saint-grade divine force, he could even become a saint himself. Only the Paragon Saint would have such a character. Lu Ming had Xiuqiu's help, and he might be able to defeat a first-level heavenly god with king-grade divine force. He must get revenge for this. Otherwise, as a holy prince, he would become a joke in the Kongshin school and no one would dare to join his faction. And Hai, Lu Chong, and the others did not dare to disobey Lu Ming, and they obediently told him Lu Feiyun's address. Rest well. I'll get revenge for this. After saying that, Lu Ming turned around and left. Lu Ming, wait a minute. Don't be rash. I'm afraid this is the other party's ploy. They deliberately injured An Hai, and the rest to provoke you into taking action. Once you take action, they will be justified in dealing with you. Yu Linglong quickly said. Don't worry. Lu Ming waved his hand and flew out. He could guess the other party's intention, but they had underestimated his strength. Oh no, I have to inform my cousin. Zifeng, come with me. Yu Linglong said, and then rushed to Ouyang Qingxiang's residence with Wu Zifeng. In a luxurious garden in the inner area, a group of people were drinking and chatting happily. The leader of the group was Lu Feiyun. Ha ha ha, it's so satisfying to have beaten up Lu Ming's subordinates this time. Indeed, those idiots are really daring. The Holy Prince said that those who joined Lu Ming's faction would be going against the Holy Princes. Those guys didn't give the Holy Prince's face and joined Lu's. They are really courting death. They are just a few reckless dogs. Seeing that Lu Ming has some talent, they want to cozy up to him. However, they don't know that Lu Ming can fight with the saint. He can't even protect himself. Some of the young men laughed as they drank. I wonder how Lu Ming will deal with it this time? Someone said. He only has two options. The first option is to swallow his anger. However, if he does that, his reputation will be completely tarnished. His subordinates have been so badly abused by others, yet he still swallows his anger. In the future, no one will join Lu Ming's faction. He will no longer be able to compete with the saint. The second option is that he comes to me for revenge. That's good. I'll give him a good beating and break all his bones. I'll make him kneel in front of me like a dog. Lu Feiyun sneered. That was their plan. No matter what Lu Ming did, he would fall into their trap. What a brilliant plan. The Holy Prince's plan is really brilliant. Lu Ming still wants to fight with the Holy Prince. He's really courting death. The other young men immediately began to flatter him. Lu Feiyun, get out here. At that moment, a loud roar came from outside. The entire courtyard seemed to shake. Lu Feiyun and the others were slightly stunned. Is that Lu Ming's voice? Someone was bewildered. Yes, that's Lu Ming's voice. I didn't expect that kid to really dare to come. Good. Lu Feiyun's eyes flashed with coldness and excitement. He got up and strode outside. The other young people followed. When they walked out of the courtyard, they saw Lu Ming standing alone in the void. His whole body was emitting a cold light. You're Lu Feiyun? Lu Ming's gaze fell on Lu Feiyun immediately. Among the people present, only Lu Feiyun gave him an unfathomable feeling. Yes, I'm Lu Feiyun. Lu Ming, why are you looking for me? Do you want to lower your head and apologize to the Holy Prince? Ha ha ha. Lu Feiyun laughed. The other young people also laughed with disdain. Today, I'll break your bones and make you kowtow to my subordinates and apologize. Lu Ming said coldly. Lu Feiyun and the others stopped laughing. They then stared at Lu Ming as if they were looking at an idiot. Break Lu Feiyun's bones and make him kowtow to his subordinates and apologize? Where did Lu Ming get his confidence from? Is that so? Why don't you try? Lu Feiyun's eyes flickered with excitement. He was waiting for Lu Ming to make his move. Bang! A powerful aura burst out from Lu Ming's body. A strong pressure lingered above the area. He's about to make his move. Meanwhile, many figures had appeared around the area and were observing the battle from afar. This area was originally the area where inner sect disciples gathered. Lu Ming's loud roar earlier had already alarmed the inner sect disciples in the vicinity. Lu Ming is looking for Lu Feiyun and said he's going to break his bones. Is he out of his mind? He's out of his mind. Lu Feiyun is a level 1 heavenly god and a capable subordinate of the Tianhong Saint. This Lu Ming is too arrogant. Who cares? There's a good show to watch. It'll be fun if a saint is tortured. The surrounding people discussed among themselves. Many of them were waiting to watch a good show. Bang! Lu Ming did not waste any more time and made his move. He used his full strength. During the conversation just now, Lu Ming had already started to trigger the battle formula. He only made his move when he successfully triggered the quadruple combat power. A huge spear light pressed down on Lu Feiyun and the others like a mountain. This power, beside Lu Feiyun, the other youths all revealed looks of shock. Even the several peak true divinity existences were trembling with fear. They simply couldn't block this move. Only Lu Feiyun remained calm. You want to fight me with such strength? Ignorant. With one hand behind his back, Lu Feiyun stretched out his other hand and blasted out a palm strike. A palm print flew out and hit the spear light. Bang! The spear light shook violently and shattered. The terrifying palm force charged toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body shook violently and he retreated madly. He only came to a stop after retreating for 100 miles. Is this the strength of a heavenly god? It's amazing. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. Lu Feiyun did not use his full strength just now. However, the power was much stronger than Long Xian, who was ranked 6th on the True God ranking. There was a huge gap between the Heavenly God realm and the True God realm. Chapter 2802. You dare to fight me with this little bit of strength? Be suppressed. Lu Feiyun said coldly. His body flashed, and he charged towards Lu Ming. He pressed down with one hand, and a huge palm was formed, pressing down on Lu Ming. Third apocalyptic strike. Moon slashing. Lu Ming roared. His divine power surged as he executed the third apocalyptic strike. Moon slashing. A crescent-shaped spear light slashed towards the palm print. At the same time, 9 ice chains flew out from Lu Ming's body and rushed towards the palm print. Boom! There was an earth-shattering explosion that shook the mountains and the earth. Lu Ming's body was once again pushed back 100 miles, and he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Lu Ming managed to block Lu Feiyun's palm print. Moreover, Lu Ming's divine body was extremely strong. His ancient god heart flowed with streams of blood energy, and Lu Ming's injuries were completely healed in an instant. So powerful. All around, the spectators all revealed looks of amazement. Today, regardless of the result, Lu Ming's combat strength was shocking. He was able to block Lu Feiyun's attacks consecutively. Lu Feiyun's face turned gloomy. Although he did not use his full strength, he was still a heavenly god after all. He felt ashamed that he could not suppress Lu Ming even after attacking consecutively. He was about to continue attacking, but Lu Ming beat him to it. "Now, it's my turn." Lu Ming shouted and executed the Nine Heavens Garuda technique. In a flash, he appeared above Lu Feiyun's head and slashed down with his long spear. It was still the moon slashing. At the same time, 9 ice shackles flew down and wrapped around Lu Feiyun. "Insignificant skill," Lu Feiyun said coldly and threw out another palm print. Although he had only used one palm, he had already unleashed more than 90% of his divine power. He wanted to completely suppress Lu Ming with this palm. Ball. At this moment, Lu Ming's mind moved. Ball flew out and turned into a huge metal ball that flew towards Lu Feiyun. Boom. Lu Ming's attack and Qiuqiu's attack hit Lu Feiyun's palm at the same time. Boom. An even more terrifying vibration erupted. Lu Feiyun's palm shook violently and cracks appeared on it. How is this possible? Lu Feiyun's eyes involuntarily widened, revealing a look of disbelief. He had never imagined that Lu Ming would be able to break through his attack. Boom. Following that, Lu Feiyun's palm print directly collapsed, and Lu Ming's long spear swept out. Lu Feiyun hastily retreated, but he was already a step too late. Blood splattered everywhere. Lu Feiyun's body was cut open by the spear light, and the wound was so deep that his bones could be seen. Boom. Lu Feiyun erupted with all his might. His divine power swept out like a tidal wave, blocking Lu Ming and Qiuqiu's follow-up attacks. Lu Feiyun is actually injured. The surrounding onlookers were stunned. Anger. Lu Feiyun himself was furious. His entire body was filled with terrifying killing intent. His eyes were incomparably ferocious as he stared at Lu Ming. He was a dignified heavenly god expert, but he was actually injured by Lu Ming, a third-layer true god. This was simply a humiliation to him. He wished he could tear Lu Ming into pieces. Good, very good. Lu Ming, today, I will make you beg for death. Lu Feiyun said ferociously. The aura on his body became even more terrifying. A pair of divine tool gloves appeared on his hands. Swoosh. Lu Feiyun turned into a bolt of lightning and charged towards Lu Ming. His hands continuously struck out, and several huge palm prints blasted towards Lu Ming. The power was much stronger than before. This was Lu Feiyun's true battle strength. It was absolutely powerful. One had to know that the divine power he controlled was king grade. It was even stronger than those first-layer heavenly gods who controlled ordinary divine power. Lu Ming did not dare to be careless. He activated the 9-layered crimson golden armor and controlled the 9 icy chains. He then executed the Armageddon 3 strikes towards Lu Feiyun. At the same time, Qiuqiu also spun rapidly, cooperating with Lu Ming to attack Lu Feiyun. Lu Ming did not let Qiuqiu execute that kind of lightning. It was not the time yet. That kind of lightning could only be used at the crucial moment to have a miraculous effect. Boom. Boom. The two sides clashed once again, resulting in a terrifying explosion. Lu Ming let out a long roar. His long hair fluttered as he exerted all his strength to the maximum. At the same time, Qiuqiu also unleashed his full strength. Even so, Lu Ming and Qiuqiu were still at a disadvantage. The two of them were suppressed and kept retreating. The divine power of a heavenly god was incomparably strong. Every move was filled with explosive power, pressuring Lu Ming to the point of suffocation. If it weren't for Qiuqiu resisting most of the pressure, Lu Ming would have been defeated long ago. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had exchanged more than 10 moves. Gotcha! Cracks appeared on the 9-layered crimson gold armor on Lu Ming's body. It was already on the verge of collapsing. As for the ice shackles, they began to emit cracking noises as well. "Condense for me," Lu Ming shouted. Endless divine power gushed out from the quantifying character formula. Lu Ming maintained his peak condition all along. The crimson gold armor on his body became dazzling. The 9 ice chains also became solid. What's going on with this kid? Lu Feiyun was secretly alarmed. Logically speaking, Lu Ming was only a third-level true god. In such a high-intensity battle, his divine power should have long been depleted. But until now, Lu Ming maintained several divine techniques at the same time, and was still as lively as a dragon or a tiger. He was simply a freak. Burning blood technique. Seeing that the battle was going on for a long time, Lu Feiyun became anxious and directly used his trump card. His body was covered in a layer of fiery red blood light, as if his blood was burning. At the same time, his combat strength also suddenly increased by several notches. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming and Qiuqiu were sent flying at the same time, retreating wildly, especially Lu Ming, who even spurted out a mouthful of blood. Kill! Lu Feiyun roared and charged toward Lu Ming. His palm turned into a claw and grabbed at Lu Ming, as if he wanted to crush Lu Ming's bones. Come on! Lu Ming's eyes revealed a crazed look. He fully operated several divine techniques and secret techniques. His essence, energy, and spirit were highly concentrated. Suddenly, the crimson gold armor on Lu Ming's body became more solid and the light became brighter. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The 9-layered crimson gold armor had broken through to the 5th layer, and its defensive power had increased greatly. This kid, Lu Feiyun, was extremely shocked. Of course, he had noticed Lu Ming's breakthrough. So what if you broke through? You want to block my attack? Dream on. Lu Feiyun increased his speed and attacked Lu Ming. Swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming controlled 9 ice chains and entangled toward Lu Feiyun. The ice chains had boundless power to deal with people in the true God realm. But facing the celestial God realm Lu Feiyun, it seemed somewhat inadequate. Under Lu Feiyun's attack, the ice chains crumbled continuously. Moon severing. Lu Ming shouted. The long spear slashed down. A crescent-shaped spear light chopped toward Lu Feiyun. Suppress for me. Lu Feiyun was not afraid at all. His claw grabbed at the spear light directly, bringing along a terrifying force wave. Chapter 2803. While Lu Feiyun was attacking Lu Ming, Qiuqiu was also attacking Lu Feiyun. However, Lu Feiyun ignored Qiuqiu. He already knew Qiuqiu's strength. He used a defensive divine skill that was enough to block Qiuqiu's attack. He wanted to suppress Lu Ming first before dealing with Qiuqiu. Boom! Lu Feiyun's claw grabbed Lu Ming's spear light and shattered it. A terrifying force poured down on Lu Ming. Boom! At the same time, Qiuqiu smashed heavily on Lu Feiyun's body, but it was blocked by his defensive divine skill. Now, Qiuqiu, lightning! Lu Ming shouted with his mind. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Streaks of lightning emerged from Qiuqiu's body and gathered into a bolt of lightning that was as thick as an arm and blasted towards Lu Feiyun. Boom! This bolt of lightning directly pierced through Lu Feiyun's defense and hit his body. Lu Feiyun screamed, and his body trembled violently. The force that was attacking Lu Ming was also reduced by more than half. His claw grabbed Lu Ming's crimson gold armor and sent Lu Ming flying. Even so, Lu Ming was still seriously injured and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Lu Feiyun was in an even worse state. He didn't have much defense against Qiuqiu. After the previous battle, he already knew Qiuqiu's strength. He never expected that Qiuqiu also had a terrifying lightning. Therefore, Qiuqiu's lightning struck him directly, causing pain as if his body was being torn apart. His body was also numb, and he couldn't move for a moment. Qiuqiu, continue, Lu Ming shouted. The strength of a heavenly god was too shocking. Even if Lu Feiyun was hit directly, he probably wouldn't be seriously injured. Now was the best time to completely suppress Lu Feiyun. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Dazzling lightning emerged from Qiuqiu's body again. How dare you? Stop it! Several youths with Lu Feiyun roared and pounced towards Qiuqiu, trying to stop him. Get lost. Lu Ming didn't care about his injuries. He used the Garuda technique and rushed toward those people, his long spear sweeping out. Bang! 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 Those few youths were merely true God realm and could not withstand the current Lu Ming at all. They were directly swept flying out by the spear light, smashing onto the ground and vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. With just a single move, he was severely injured. At this moment, Qiuqiu's second lightning bolt had already shot out and struck Lu Feiyun's head. Lu Feiyun let out a blood-curdling scream. His entire body was pitch black, and smoke was coming out of his body. His body had been split open, and the moment blood flowed out, it was burned by the lightning and turned into green smoke. Bind. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and dashed over. The 9 ice chains appeared again and entangled Lu Feiyun. The terrifying chill froze Lu Feiyun in an instant. Bang! The ice chains swung Lu Feiyun up and smashed him onto the ground, creating a large pit. There were cracking sounds coming from Lu Feiyun's body. No one knew how many bones in his body were broken. Lu Feiyun was severely injured and had no strength to fight back. The spectators were dumbfounded. They did not expect this to be the outcome. Lu Ming, who was in true God realm, came to fight Lu Feiyun. The final result would be Lu Feiyun being defeated and severely injured. I have said that I want you to kneel down and kowtow to my subordinates. Now, kneel down to me first, Lu Ming said coldly. He controlled the ice chains to control Lu Feiyun and wanted him to kneel down. Lu Ming, how dare you? Lu Feiyun roared and struggled madly. However, he was already severely injured. All the bones in his body were broken, and he was bound by the ice chains. He couldn't break free at all. Plop. He was forced to kneel in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming, I will kill you. Lu Feiyun roared hysterically. His eyes were red, and his murderous intent was extremely cold. What are you shouting for? You should have thought of this when you injured my subordinates. Now, go and kowtow to my subordinates and apologize. Lu Ming wanted to bring Lu Feiyun back to Enhai's residence so that Lu Feiyun could kowtow to Enhai and the rest. The other side. Lu Ming was really domineering. How dare you? Let him go. At this moment, a loud roar came from afar. At the same time, a terrifying aura spread toward them. Tianhong Saint. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Hearing the voice, Lu Ming knew that the Tianhong Saint had arrived. Lu Ming moved and landed beside Lu Feiyun. In the next moment, a young man appeared in the sky and looked down at Lu Ming. Who else could it be but the Tianhong Saint? The Tianhong Saint's gaze fell on Lu Feiyun. Seeing Lu Feiyun in such a miserable state, a cold, murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Lu Ming, do you know that Lu Feiyun is my subordinate? The Tianhong Saint said coldly with an icy voice. So what if I know? So what if I don't know? Lu Ming sneered. You hurt my men. I will make you pay 10 times the price. The Tianhong Saint said. Before I pay the price, I'm afraid he will be crippled. Lu Ming pointed at Lu Feiyun. Do you think you can use him to threaten me? Naive. The Tianhong Saint sneered. As soon as he finished speaking, his body disappeared from the spot. Oh no. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He focused his mind and tried to capture the Tianhong Saint's figure. But at this moment, a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt as if he had sunk into a swamp. Break for me, Lu Ming roared and unleashed his full strength. A spear radiance shot up into the sky and broke through the surrounding pressure. However, just as Lu Feiyun regained some freedom, his 9 ice chains shook violently and shattered into pieces. Lu Feiyun was swept away by a gust of energy. Then, not far from Lu Ming, the Tianhong Saint appeared. He held Lu Feiyun in his hand. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's heart sank. The Tianhong Saint's strength was above his expectations. Just now, the Tianhong Saint had suddenly taken action and rescued Lu Feiyun from his hands. He did not even have time to react. Unfathomable. Lu Ming felt that the Tianhong Saint's cultivation was at least of the 3rd level of the heavenly god realm. Moreover, the divine power that he controlled was definitely of the sacred grade. It was not something that Lu Feiyun could compare to. With your strength, you still want to fight with me. Today, I will cripple you. The Tianhong Saint was very powerful. Golden divine power jumped around his body and formed a terrifying wave that pressed down on Lu Ming. Bam, bam, bam. Lu Ming retreated continuously. He could not withstand the pressure and retreated more than 10 steps. It was the same for Qiuqiu. Due to the pressure, it retreated continuously and landed on Lu Ming's shoulder. There was a grave expression in its eyes. Chapter 2804. Kid, you're playing with fire this time. Bone Demon sighed in his sea of consciousness. Senior, is there any way for me to have the strength to contend with Tianhong? Lu Ming asked. This time, Lu Ming did not expect the Tianhong saint to rush over so quickly. However, given Lu Ming's character, even if he knew, he would still come to deal with Lu Feiyun. Swallowing his pride was not Lu Ming's character. That kid is very powerful. With your current strength, there is only one way to have the strength to contend with the Tianhong saint in a short period of time. That is to completely ignite the ancient god's heart. That way, you will gain great power in a short period of time. However, the consequence is that your ancient god's heart may disappear completely. This is a huge price to pay. Bone Demon sighed. Ignite the ancient god's heart? It will disappear completely? Lu Ming frowned. Being able to condense the ancient god's heart was a great opportunity. This kind of opportunity could only be found by chance. If it was lost, it would be gone. Lu Ming was reluctant. With the ancient god's heart, his divine body could grow larger at any time. In the long run, the benefits would be amazing. However, if there was no other way, he could only give it a try. Lu Ming, first, kneel down. The Tianhong saint looked down from above. His aura was like the sea, constantly pressing down on Lu Ming. At the same time, he stretched out a palm and pressed down. A huge palm, like an ancient sacred mountain, pressed down on Lu Ming. The palm had yet to reach him, but the terrifying pressure had already caused Lu Ming's body to creak and make creaking sounds. There was no way to resist. The difference between the two was too great. Regardless of whether it was Lu Ming or Qiu, they were all very weak in front of the Tianhong saint. It seems that I can only ignite the ancient god's heart. Lu Ming revealed a determined look. Although the ancient god's heart was precious, it was nothing compared to his life. Come on. Lu Ming was enraged. He was about to erupt and ignite his ancient god heart. Right at this time, a delicate cry sounded out, Tianhong, you're a dignified celestial deity realm holy son. To actually make a move to deal with a third-level true god person, you're really shameless. If you want to fight, I'll be your opponent. Before he could finish his words, a streak of sword chi had already flown over from the distance, reminiscent of an otherworldly deity. Boom! The sword light struck the great Skyhong Saint Sun's palm print and exploded with a violent boom. The palm print trembled and was split into two by the sword light. Whoosh! Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distant sky. Ouyang Qingxiang. At the critical moment, Ouyang Qingxiang made her move. She slashed apart the great Sky Saint's palm. It wasn't that Ouyang Qingxiang was much stronger than the Heavenly Hong Saint. It was just that the Heavenly Hong Saint hadn't used his full strength in that move. In order to save Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang had used even more strength. That was why she had been able to split open the Heavenly Hong Saint's palm imprint with one move. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. Ouyang Qingxiang had arrived. It seemed like he didn't need to burn the ancient god's heart. After all, the ancient god's heart was too precious. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Lu Ming couldn't bear to waste it. Ouyang Qingxiang, are you trying to be a busybody? The Heavenly Hong Saint Sun's face turned cold as he stared coldly at Ouyang Qingxiang. What do you mean by being a busybody? Lu Ming and I are friends. If you want to deal with him, you're dealing with me, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Humph. Humph. Do you think that you can stop me? The Heavenly Hong Saint Sun snorted coldly. His body emitted a golden divine power as his aura grew stronger. You'll know once you try. Although you became a saint earlier than me, you might not be able to defeat me, Ouyang Qingxiang said coldly. Ouyang Qingxiang said coldly as a powerful sword chi burst out from his body and pierced through the sky. Holy Lady Qingxiang and the Heavenly Hong Saint Sun are about to fight. It's been a long time since the saints and holy ladies have fought. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder who's stronger? I don't know. Although Holy Lady Qingxiang became a holy lady later, her talent is amazing. She might not be weaker than the Heavenly Hong Saint Sun. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be friends with Holy Lady Qingxiang. Speaking of which, Lu Ming is really terrifying. If he grows up, he might surpass the other saints and holy ladies. Only the supreme saints can fight him. Yeah, I wonder how today's matter will be resolved. More and more people gathered in the area. Even some of the inner sect elders appeared to watch from afar. Divine Dragon Palm. Suddenly, the heavenly Hong Saint Sun let out a long roar as his divine power erupted. He formed seals with both hands and waved them out. A huge dragon claw was formed and grabbed at Ouyang Qingxiang. Green Lotus Sword Song. Ouyang Qingxiang muttered. Her sword aura surged as she waved her sword. A green sword radiance burst out and slashed at the huge dragon claw. Boom! A terrifying collision erupted, causing thousands of ripples. It was as if the entire inner sect area was shaking violently. Let's fight. Ouyang Qingxiang's voice rang out as her body turned into a green sword radiance and rushed into the sky. Roar! A dragon's roar came from the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's body. His body underwent a huge change in an instant. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun's body became tall and sturdy. His muscles bulged, and his body was twice as big as before. A layer of golden scales appeared on the surface of his skin. They shone brightly under the sunlight. Those were dragon scales. More shockingly, the heavenly Hong Saint Sun grew a tail. A dragon's tail. Dragon human race. Lu Ming squinted his eyes as he recognized the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's race. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun was from the dragon human race. Lu Ming had seen this race before. In the Yellow Springs Mountain Yellow Springs world, there was a country formed by the dragon human race. Divine Dragon Palm. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun revealed his true form. His combat strength was even stronger as he continuously used the Divine Dragon Palm. In the sky, 9 golden dragon claws formed consecutively and grabbed at Ouyang Qingxiang. Green Lotus Sword Song. Sword shakes the world. Ouyang Qingxiang turned around and streaks of green sword chi shot out, slashing at the golden dragon claws. In the sky, there was an uproar as the two of them engaged in an intense battle. The scene was extremely shocking. Lu Ming's face turned solemn. With his current strength, he was still a far cry from the heavenly Hong Saint Sun and Ouyang Qingxiang. You're only a level 4 heavenly god. Lu Ming, don't belittle yourself. With your talent, you'll catch up to them in a few years. Gumo's voice sounded as though he had seen through Lu Ming's thoughts. Level 4 heavenly god? Lu Ming nodded. He wondered how the other saints and saintesses of the Kongxian school were. Swoosh, swoosh. Just then, 2 figures flew over from afar. They were Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng. Lu Ming, are you all right? Yu Linglong asked. I'm fine. Did you inform Saintess Qingxiang? Thank you. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming knew that Ouyang Qingxiang must have been informed by Yu Linglong and Ouyang Qingxiang and rushed over. It's good that you're fine. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng nodded and looked up at the battle in the sky. Chapter 2805. At that moment, Ouyang Qingxiang and the Tianhong Saint had already exchanged more than 100 moves, but it was still difficult to determine the victor. The Tianhong Saint's face darkened. Ouyang Qingxiang, you forced me to do this. I'll show you my true trump card. Divine Dragon Dharma Idol, come out. The Tianhong Saint roared as his divine power surged. Half of the sky was dyed golden. Roar. Then, a dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. A huge true dragon appeared above the Tianhong Saint's head. No, it should not be called a true dragon. In the desolate universe, all true dragons that reached the martial god realm were called divine dragons. Seeing this divine dragon, Lu Ming was dazzled. He thought that he had returned to the era when the divine wilderness continent was fighting for supremacy. This move was very similar to the move that the Tianhong Saint used when he was below the martial monarch realm. However, this was clearly not a bloodline technique, but a secret technique. A divine dragon formed with a secret technique had a terrifying aura. What shocked Lu Ming the most was that this divine dragon did not have 5 claws, but 6. 6 claws, what's going on? Could it be a mutated divine dragon? Lu Ming's mind was racing. Back then, when Lu Ming had just gone to the Yuanlu, he had met Xiao Yingying. Her bloodline was a 6-clawed true dragon. In the Heaven Realm and the Yuanlu realm, dragons had 6 claws. Those with more than 7 claws were considered mutated true dragons, such as the 9 dragons. Therefore, Lu Ming naturally thought that the divine dragon formed by the Tianhong saint was also a mutated one. Roar! The six-clawed golden dragon roared as its body, which was tens of thousands of meters long, pounced at Ouyang Qingxiang. Azure Lotus Sword Song, God-slaying sword. Facing the Tianhong saint's secret technique, Ouyang Qingxiang's expression turned grave. She also executed her secret technique. Countless azure sword lights burst out from her body. These sword lights gathered into an azure lotus flower. It spun and flew toward the six-clawed golden dragon. The six-clawed golden dragon roared and clawed at the azure lotus with its claws. There was a deafening explosion. The sky was boiling, and a terrifying force surged in all directions. This was the most powerful collision between the saint and the saintess. The scene was astonishing. However, something happened to Lu Ming's body. He felt his body burning up, and the blood in his body seemed to be boiling. In fact, the roar of a dragon could be heard from Lu Ming's blood. This is the sound of the 9 dragons. Lu Ming was astonished. Lu Ming had once refined 9 drops of blood essence from the 9 dragons. As Lu Ming's cultivation continued to rise, these 9 drops of blood essence fused with Lu Ming's blood and remained hidden within his body. The Great Sky Saint's secret technique had actually caused the 9 dragons' blood essence to react. This secret technique is so powerful. If I can get my hands on it, I will definitely be able to cultivate it to an extremely high level. Lu Ming's mind spun as his eyes burned with passion. He had a feeling that the Great Sky Hong Saint's mystic technique was very suitable for him. This was a desire that came from the 9 dragons' blood essence. The battle between the Great Sky Hong Saint and Ouyang Qingxiang became even more intense. However, Ouyang Qingxiang was already at a disadvantage. The Great Sky Hong Saint's mystic technique, the divine dragon aspect art, was so powerful that it started to suppress Ouyang Qingxiang. Of course, it wasn't that Ouyang Qingxiang's Green Lotus Sword Song wasn't powerful. Ouyang Qingxiang's Green Lotus Sword Song was also terrifyingly powerful. However, Ouyang Qingxiang's cultivation was slightly weaker than the Great Sky Hong Saint's. The Great Sky Hong Saint's cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level Heavenly God Realm, while Ouyang Qingxiang was at the early stage of the 4th level Heavenly God Realm. At the beginning of the battle, the difference couldn't be seen. However, as the battle dragged on, the difference gradually became apparent. If this continued, it would be disadvantageous for Ouyang Qingxiang. Ouyang Qingxiang, I've said that you can't stop me. The Great Sky Hong Saint roared as he circulated the divine dragon aspect art with all his might. The 6-clawed golden dragon's power became even more terrifying. Ouyang Qingxiang didn't say a word as she resisted with all her might. It wouldn't be easy for the Great Sky Hong Saint to win in a short period of time. Below, Lu Ming's eyes shifted as he suddenly revealed a determined look. Great Sky Hong, don't you want to attack me? I'll give you a chance. Lu Ming shouted, and his voice reverberated throughout the entire arena. Many people looked curiously at Lu Ming, including the Great Sky Hong Saint and Ouyang Qingxiang. How about I make a bet with you? Lu Ming said. What bet? The Great Sky Hong Saint asked. If you attack me, I'll take 1 move from you. However, it's only 1 move. After that, you'll have to leave. Lu Ming said. His words caused an uproar among the crowd. What? Lu Ming wants to take 1 move from the Great Sky Hong Saint? Crazy. He's crazy. He's courting death. That's right. 1 move from the Great Sky Hong Saint is terrifying. With Lu Ming's cultivation, he'll definitely die. He knows that the Great Sky Hong Saint won't back down today, so he wants to take a gamble. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Lu Ming, you can't. Yu Linglong shouted. That's right, Brother Lu. The Great Sky Hong Saint's cultivation is too strong. You can't take this risk. Wu Zifeng also spoke. If Lu Ming were to take 1 move from the Great Sky Hong Saint, he would definitely die. A cold, murderous intent flashed across the Great Sky Hong Saint's eyes as he said, Is what you said true? Of course it's true. However, I have a condition. If I can take 1 move from you and not die, you have to give me your divine dragon aspect technique. Lu Ming said. This was his plan. He wanted to obtain the Great Sky Hong Saint's Divine Dragon Aspect technique. You want my Divine Dragon Aspect technique? Dream on. The Great Sky Hong Saint's voice became extremely cold. Why not? I'm betting my life with you. If I can't take one move from you, I'll die. Isn't it worth it for me to pay such a high price for a secret technique? Also, do you have no confidence in yourself and think that you can't kill me in one move? Lu Ming sneered. I have no confidence? What a joke. All right, I'll bet with you. The Great Sky Hong Saint said loudly. With his cultivation, he could kill Lu Ming with just one move, let alone using his full strength. Why wouldn't he dare to bet? He could take the opportunity to get rid of Lu Ming completely. Lu Ming, you don't have to take the risk. I can stop him. Ouyang Qingxiang sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. It's okay. I'm confident. Don't worry, Saintess Qingxiang. Lu Ming replied. Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes flickered a few times. Then, she quickly retreated and distanced herself from the Great Sky Hong Saint. The two of them stopped. Hey, Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? Do you want to die? Even if you want to die, don't drag me down with you. At this moment, the Bone Demon in Lu Ming's mind was stamping with rage. Senior Bone Demon, I can only rely on you to decide whether I live or die this time. Lu Ming said, Look at me? Look at my ass. Brat, you're courting death. Go and face it yourself. The Bone Demon roared. Senior Bone Demon, are you going to watch me be killed? If I'm killed, I'm afraid I'll never be able to complete Senior Jingyu's matter. Lu Ming sighed. You're threatening me. The Bone Demon roared. Chapter 2806. I wouldn't dare to threaten you. Given my current situation, I have no choice but to take a risk. Lu Ming sighed. Guamo was so angry that his bones were trembling. He gritted his teeth and said, All right, I'll help you one more time. Let me tell you, this is the last time. Besides, I don't have much energy left. I might not be able to help you block that kid's attack. Take care of yourself. Senior, you just need to block a part of his attack for me. Leave the rest to me. Lu Ming said happily. Guamo could only agree. Boom. At that moment, the Tianhong Saint appeared above Lu Ming. His violent aura kept pressuring Lu Ming. A six-clawed divine dragon circled above the Tianhong Saint's head. It looked mighty. Kid, do you have any last words? I'll give you a chance. The Tianhong Saint said coldly. He was full of confidence. If he attacked with all his strength, even an ordinary level 4 heavenly god would be crushed to pieces, let alone Lu Ming. Let's do it. Lu Ming's eyes were full of fighting spirit. The 6 divine fires in his dantian jumped. A crimson golden armor appeared in front of Lu Ming. At the same time, 9 ice chains flew out and surrounded Lu Ming. Qiuqiu turned into a pool of liquid metal and climbed onto Lu Ming's body. It then turned into armor on Lu Ming's body. In Lu Ming's mind, Gumo's body glowed. A stream of energy flowed into Lu Ming's body and formed a layer of defense. Petty tricks. Go to hell. The Tianhong Saint shouted coldly. His eyes were full of murderous intent. Roar. The 6-clawed divine dragon roared and grabbed Lu Ming with one of its dragon claws. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in one move. Originally, in the Kongxian school, it was forbidden to kill fellow disciples, especially when Lu Ming was a saint. However, Lu Ming had asked to take the Tianhong Saint's attack. This way, it wouldn't be within the restrictions of the sect. This was also the reason why the Tianhong Saint agreed. He could take the opportunity to kill Lu Ming. Otherwise, Lu Ming would hide in the sect, and it wouldn't be easy for him to kill Lu Ming. He's attacking. Can Lu Ming block it? Lu Ming is dead. Everyone's gaze was focused on Lu Ming as thoughts flashed through their minds. Boom. The golden dragon claw was like a small mountain, bombarding Lu Ming's body. The first to bear the brunt of the attack was the ice chain. Bam, bam, bam. Almost in an instant, the 9 ice chains shattered and exploded. What a terrifying power! Lu Ming was secretly taken aback. He then felt an incomparably powerful force, as though it could topple the mountains and trample the seas, pressing down on him. Block it for me. Lu Ming let out a long howl and unleashed all his power. However, when the divine dragon's claw pressed down, the rocks under Lu Ming's feet exploded and crumbled. A huge pit appeared. Lu Ming was blasted into the huge pit. Smoke and dust filled the air, and Lu Ming's figure couldn't be seen anymore. How is it? Is Lu Ming dead? He's definitely dead. With his cultivation, he'll definitely die if he takes the Tianhong Saint's attack. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the huge pit. They wanted to know Lu Ming's situation. Lu Ming, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others also stared at the huge pit with worried expressions. This brat is finally dead. A smile appeared on the Tianhong Saint's face. He had absolute confidence in that attack of his. Although he had not used all of his strength in that attack, he had used 80% of his strength. Even with 80% of his strength, he was confident that he could kill Lu Ming. However, in the next moment, the smile on the Tianhong Saint's face disappeared and was replaced by disbelief. Damn it, how is that possible? The Tianhong Saint roared in anger. Cough, cough, cough. At this moment, a dry cough came from the huge pit. When the smoke and dust dissipated, the crowd could finally see the situation clearly. They saw Lu Ming lying in the huge pit, covered in blood. He was also coughing up blood. Lu Ming was seriously injured, but he wasn't dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. Oh my God, with his cultivation, he took the Tianhong Saint's attack head-on and didn't die. How is that possible? Many people cried out in disbelief. However, Yu Linglong, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others were ecstatic. This brat is indeed powerful. Lu Ming coughed up a few more mouthfuls of blood and circulated his divine power to heal his injuries. He was indeed seriously injured in the previous attack. The Tianhong Saint's power was too strong. His own defense collapsed in an instant. Qiuqia was also injured. It turned into a bracelet and attached itself to Lu Ming's hand. If not for Gumo's help, he definitely wouldn't have been able to withstand the Tianhong Saint's attack and would have been killed. However, in the end, he managed to withstand the attack. He had made the right bet. Damn it! Damn it! Kill! The Tianhong Saint was enraged and revealed a frenzied killing intent. He took a step forward, and an earth-shattering force blasted towards Lu Ming. Tianhong, you're despicable. Ouyang Qingxiang had been staring at the Tianhong Saint for a long time. When the Tianhong Saint attacked, Ouyang Qingxiang also attacked. She slashed out with her sword, and a sword radiance blocked the Tianhong Saint's attack. Tianhong, you made a bet with Lu Ming on one move. Now that you didn't kill Lu Ming with one move, you want to make a second move. Do you have the right to be the Kongxian School's saint when you go back on your words? Ouyang Qingxiang shouted angrily. The Tianhong Saint could only stop. Many people had seen the bet between him and Lu Ming. Now, he couldn't go back on his word even if he wanted to. Tianhong, you've lost. Hand over the divine dragon aspect art. Lu Ming struggled to get up and looked at the Tianhong Saint. The Tianhong Saint's face was terrifyingly gloomy. He stared at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, I've underestimated you this time. However, it's impossible for me to hand over the divine dragon aspect art. Change your condition. I'll try my best to satisfy you. The Tianhong Saint actually wanted to go back on his word. I don't need to change my condition. I want the divine dragon aspect art. We agreed on it during the bet. Tianhong, are you going back on your word now? Lu Ming said. The Tianhong Saint's murderous intent had reached its peak. He had agreed to Lu Ming's bet because he didn't expect to lose. He thought that he would definitely win. That was why he agreed to Lu Ming's bet. Lu Ming, don't push your luck. The Tianhong Saint said coldly. The Tianhong Saint said coldly. His threat was obvious. What do you mean push my luck? What a joke. I'm just getting what I deserve. I risked my life for it. Tianhong, hand over the divine dragon aspect art. Lu Ming said loudly. The Tianhong Saint gritted his teeth. He wished he could chop Lu Ming into pieces. However, so many people had seen it today. If he went back on his word in public, it would damage his reputation greatly. It would also be disadvantageous for him to compete for the position of the Kongxian School's sect leader. What right did a person who went back on his word have to be in charge of the Kongxian school? Chapter 2807. Lu Ming. The Divine Dragon Aspect Technique requires the bloodline of the Divine Dragon to be cultivated. You don't have the bloodline of the Divine Dragon. Even if I give it to you, you won't be able to cultivate it. The Tianhong Saint said, "You don't have to worry about that. You just need to give me the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique." Lu Ming said plainly. The Tianhong Saint gritted his teeth, but he had no choice. His palm glowed, and a scroll appeared in his hand. "For you?" The Tianhong Saint waved his hand, and the scroll flew out with a terrifying whistling sound. Needless to say, the scroll contained a terrifying power. Ouyang Qingxiang caught the scroll in a flash. She came to Lu Ming's side and handed it to Lu Ming. "Thank you." Lu Ming thanked her and took the scroll. He opened it and read it. After reading it, Lu Ming's face darkened. He looked coldly at the Tianhong Saint and said, "The Divine Dragon Aspect Technique you gave me is incomplete. Are you going back on your word?" Although he had never come into contact with the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique, he could still tell if a secret technique was complete. "The Divine Dragon Aspect Technique that I obtained was incomplete in the first place. Otherwise, do you think you can stop me?" The Tianhong Saint said coldly. "Tianhong, if you want to go back on your word, just say it. You don't have to find such excuses." Lu Ming sneered. "I said that the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique I obtained is incomplete. Don't you understand?" The Tianhong Saint's face darkened. "Lu Ming, this is true. I heard that the Tianhong Saint's Divine Dragon Aspect Technique was obtained from an ancient relic. It is indeed incomplete," Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the Tianhong Saint was not lying. "Humph, let's go." In the air, the Tianhong Saint snorted, waved his sleeves, and turned to leave. He had suffered a great loss today. Not only did he fail to kill Lu Ming, but he also lost the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique. In his heart, he had already put Lu Ming on his must-kill list. The Great Sky Saint and his people left with their tails between their legs. Fragrant Saintess, thank you for saving me this time." Lu Ming cupped his fists towards Ouyang Qingxiang to express his gratitude. This time, if not for Ouyang Qingxiang, he would not have had the chance to bet with the Great Skyhong Saint. The Tianhong Saint had only agreed to the bet because he could not win over Ouyang Qingxiang. "You're too polite. You'll have to rely on yourself this time." Ouyang Qingxiang's beautiful eyes flickered as her curiosity towards Lu Ming grew. Lu Ming was only a third-level true god and could actually receive a move from the Great Sky's Holy Sun and not die. The Tianhong Saint's son was a peak fourth-level celestial god. By the way, Saint Qingxiang, why does the Tianhong Saint's Divine Dragon Aspect have 6 dragon claws? Lu Ming voiced out the doubts in his heart. "That's a 6-clawed Divine Dragon. Don't tell me you don't even know that?" Ouyang Qingxiang said. 6-clawed Divine Dragon? I really don't know much about the Dragon Clan." Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. Among the Dragon Clan, the most ordinary Dragon Clan has 5 dragon claws. As for the higher-ranked Dragon Clan, they have 6 or even 7 dragon claws, Ouyang Qingxiang explained. 6 dragon claws, 7 dragon claws? Isn't it because of a mutation? Lu Ming asked again. Mutation? How is that possible? The more dragon claws a Dragon Clan has, the purer their bloodline and the higher their level, the more talented and powerful they are. Most of the dragons in the Dragon Clan are 5-clawed divine dragons. 6-clawed divine dragons are already considered high-level divine dragons. There are very few of them. The more of them there are, the more talented and powerful they are. However, there are fewer of them. I heard that the highest-level divine dragon in the Dragon Clan has 9 dragon claws and is known as the 9-clawed divine dragon. Ouyang Qingxiang explained. I see. Looks like my previous understanding of the Dragon Clan was wrong. Lu Ming murmured to himself and suddenly realized something. In the past, all the true dragons in the primordial realm had 5 claws, so the occasional 6-clawed or even 9-clawed dragon was considered a mutation. In fact, that wasn't the case. The more dragon claws a Dragon Clan had, the stronger the ancient bloodline in the dragon claws. It seems that the 9 dragons aren't a mutation, but a sign that the ancient bloodline in their bodies is extremely rich. What a pity. Thinking of this, Lu Ming sighed. He felt that it was a pity that the 9 dragons were born in the heaven realm, which was a small world. He was afraid that their talents weren't stimulated at all. The 9-claw dragon was the highest level divine dragon in the untainted universe. If the 9 dragons were born in the untainted universe, their achievements would be limitless. Lu Ming, if you're interested in the Dragon Clan, you can find some related books to read. These are common knowledge in the untainted universe. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. However, he thought that common knowledge might not be the case. In the chaotic galaxy, the understanding of the Dragon Clan was probably very limited. Otherwise, the ancestor of techniques and even the ancestral dragon would know the origin of the 9 dragons. They all thought that the 9 dragons were a mutation of the true dragons. Immediately, Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and Wu Zifeng all left. Lu Ming first went to Anhai's residence to help Anhai and the others heal. A few days later, Anhai and the others' injuries were no longer serious. Lu Ming then returned to his residence to cultivate and heal his injuries. He had taken a blow from the heavenly Hong Saint, and his injuries were severe. It took him half a month to fully recover. After his injuries were healed, Lu Ming took out the secret art, Divine Dragon Dharma Image Art, and read it carefully. The Divine Dragon Dharma Image Art was incomparably mysterious. After successfully cultivating it, one could condense a Divine Dragon Dharma image. Its power was extremely shocking. Moreover, the power of the Divine Dragon Dharma image was closely related to the concentration of the Divine Dragon's bloodline in the cultivator's body. The higher the grade of the bloodline, the purer the Divine Dragon Dharma image would be. A few days later, Lu Ming had almost figured out the Divine Dragon Dharma image art. He then cultivated according to the records. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming's cultivation was extremely smooth. There was no difficulty at all. In just half a month, Lu Ming had successfully cultivated it. Roar. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the courtyard and cultivated the Divine Dragon Dharma image art. A dragon's roar came from his body. Then, a divine dragon condensed above Lu Ming's head. This divine dragon was only a few meters long. The size of the Divine Dragon Dharma image could be controlled at will. If Lu Ming wanted to, he could make the Divine Dragon Dharma image tens of thousands of meters long. What was shocking was that there were 8 dragon claws on its abdomen. An 8-clawed divine dragon. The Tianhong Saint had only cultivated a 6-clawed divine dragon Dharma image. However, Lu Ming had cultivated an 8-clawed divine dragon Dharma image. However, Lu Ming was not satisfied. He frowned slightly. He originally thought that the divine dragon Dharma image that he cultivated should be a 9-clawed dragon. Chapter 2808. As expected, this godly dragon aspect technique is incomplete. If it were complete, I would definitely be able to cultivate the 9-clawed godly dragon aspect, and I might even be able to cultivate more than 1, 2, 3, 4, or even more are all possible. Lu Ming thought to himself. He had a strong desire for the complete divine dragon aspect technique. Thinking about it, once he started fighting, he could directly condense dozens of divine dragon aspects. How powerful would that be? The divine dragon aspect technique was simply too suitable for him. Without a doubt, condensing a divine dragon aspect would consume a lot of divine power. However, Lu Ming cultivated the universe myriad Dao technique and was able to cultivate multiple divine flames. His divine power was much stronger than others. Furthermore, he had the quantifying character formula, so he didn't have to worry about running out of divine power. The Great Sky Saint's divine dragon aspect technique was obtained from an ancient ruin. Then, does that ancient ruin have a complete divine dragon aspect? Lu Ming pondered. He really wanted to obtain the complete divine dragon aspect technique. Once he obtained it, his battle strength would increase greatly. Let's go ask Ouyang Qingxiang and see if she knows. Thinking of this, Lu Ming left the courtyard and headed towards Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. The residence of the Saintess was naturally extraordinary. It occupied an entire mountain peak, and there were people guarding it. How impressive. It's a pity that there are too few people relying on me. Otherwise, I could also apply for a mountain peak to live in. Lu Ming thought to himself. Of course, he only had a few subordinates now. If he applied for a mountain peak with no one living in it, it would be a joke. Stop. When Lu Ming arrived at the mountain peak, he was blocked by several young women. However, when the few young ladies saw Lu Ming's appearance clearly, they looked at him with admiration. Holy Son Lu Ming, it's you? Holy Son Lu Ming, are you looking for our saintess? The young and beautiful women blinked their big eyes, curiously sizing up Lu Ming. Lu Ming had only joined the Kongxian school for a few decades, but he had already become a holy son with his true immortal realm cultivation. Since ancient times, beauties loved heroes. Naturally, they would be curious and worship him. Yes, I'm looking for Saintess Qingxiang. Please inform her. Lu Ming said with a slight smile. Holy Son Lu Ming, please wait a moment. Immediately, a young woman flew towards the mountain peak. After a while, several figures flew out. The person in the lead was Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, why are you looking for me today? Come, please. Ouyang Qingxiang smiled and flew toward the mountain peak with Lu Ming. They came to a pavilion and sat opposite each other. I came here today to inquire about Tian Hong's Divine Dragon Aspect Technique. Saintess Qingxiang said that Tian Hong's Divine Dragon Aspect Technique came from an ancient ruin. I wonder where that ruin is? Lu Ming asked. Looks like Brother Lu is eyeing the complete Divine Dragon Aspect Technique. However, if you want to cultivate the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique, you need a strong Divine Dragon bloodline. Otherwise, even if you get it, you won't be able to cultivate it. Why does Brother Lu want the Divine Dragon Aspect Technique? To give it to someone? Ouyang Qingxiang asked curiously. Of course, to cultivate it myself. Lu Ming said with a smile. Cultivate it yourself? Ouyang Qingxiang was even more curious. But in the next moment, her beautiful eyes widened as a divine dragon appeared above Lu Ming's head. Divine Dragon Aspect? And it's an 8-clawed Divine Dragon Aspect. Ouyang Qingxiang's red lips widened in shock. It took her quite a while to recover. Brother Lu, I've underestimated you. I didn't expect you to have the Divine Dragon bloodline in your body. Moreover, you managed to cultivate an 8-clawed Divine Dragon Aspect in just a month. I wonder what Tian Hong's expression will be when he sees this? Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed. It's a pity that the Divine Dragon Aspect technique that Tian Hong gave me is incomplete. Lu Ming sighed. Ouyang Qingxiang finally knew why Lu Ming wanted to obtain the complete Divine Dragon Aspect technique. Tian Hong obtained the Divine Dragon Aspect technique from an ancient ruin. All these years, he has been keeping the ruin a secret and has been secretly excavating it. I guess he wants to obtain the complete Divine Dragon Aspect technique, but he hasn't succeeded. In the past, I had secretly dispatched people to investigate that remnant. Thus, I knew where it was located. Ouyang Qingxiang said. I know. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded and said, that relic is in a more remote place in the Qintian star sector. It's called the Yellow Wind Galaxy. Lu Ming, if you want to go there, I can accompany you. Thank you. Lu Ming stood up and thanked her. With Ouyang Qingxiang's help, his confidence would be much higher. There's no time to lose. Let's set off now. Ouyang Qingxiang was also a swift and decisive person. She and Lu Ming immediately went to Kongxian School's transmission array and took it to Yellow Wind Star River. The Yellow Wind Star River was very far away from the mysterious sky sect. The two of them took a full month and a half to arrive on a planet in the Yellow Wind Star River. Then, they took the interstellar battleship and flew toward their destination. After flying for a few more days, a strange planet appeared in front of them. From afar, this planet looked like a dragon's head. It was as if a huge divine dragon had its head chopped off. Its head floated in the air and formed the planet. This is the Dragon Head planet. There are no living creatures on this planet. It's a desolate place. The Divine Dragon Aspect technique that Tian Hong obtained is on this planet. Tian Hong is probably on this planet now. We'd better be careful to avoid alerting him. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming nodded. Immediately, The two of them exited the interstellar battleship and appeared in the starry sky. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, he could still fly in the starry sky for a short period of time. Ouyang Qingxiang, on the other hand, was in the heavenly god realm. She could already cross the starry sky with her own strength. The two of them concealed their aura and flew toward Dragonhead Planet. Soon, the two of them entered the atmosphere of Dragonhead Planet and landed on a mountain peak. The relic should be in the east. Let's go, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Dragonhead Planet was not very big. It was much smaller than the other planets with life. In a short while, they had flown across more than half of the planet. A huge mountain range appeared in front of them. It looked like a divine dragon lying on the ground. Suddenly, they saw a figure flashing by. The two of them quickly hid and watched from afar. At the head of the mountain range, there was a huge cave entrance. A group of people was guarding the entrance. There were both young people and old people. It's Tian Hong's people. It seems that Tian Hong is really here, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming frowned slightly. Tian Hong's people were guarding the cave entrance. How were they going to enter? Chapter 2809. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang decided to wait on the spot. They wanted to wait for the Skybright Saints Min to leave before entering the ruins. However, a month had passed and the Skybright Saints Min did not show any signs of leaving. Saint Qingxiang, what are the cultivation levels of the guards? Lu Ming asked. Some of them are very strong. They are outer sect elders. Some are in the 3rd level of the heavenly god realm, and 2 of them are in the 4th level. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Oh. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and said, Saint Qingxiang, can you help me lure them away? I'll enter the cave quietly. It's not a problem to lure them away, but the Skybright Saint might be in the cave. There might be other experts inside. I'm afraid it'll be dangerous if you go in, Ouyang Qingxiang said. I won't act rashly. I'll go in quietly and hide. I won't expose myself if I'm not confident. Lu Ming said. All right, let's do that. Ouyang Qingxiang was a decisive person. She nodded and the two of them approached the cave. The cave was huge and dark. They could not see what was inside. There were a dozen people outside the cave. They looked listless. There were no other living beings in the cave. They were guarding the cave just in case. Whoosh! At this moment, Ouyang Qingxiang rushed out. Who's there? Immediately, an old man shouted, It's the Saint Qingxiang. She wants to enter the ruins. Stop her. The gatekeepers roared and attacked Ouyang Qingxiang one after another. Half of them were in the heavenly god realm. There were also 2 in the 4th level of the heavenly god realm. They were very strong. However, Ouyang Qingxiang was the Saint Qingxiang. She controlled Saint Divine Power and was very strong. She easily blocked their attacks. Go and report to the saint that Ouyang Qingxiang is here. I'll go. Suddenly, an old man rushed into the cave and disappeared. The others focused on dealing with Ouyang Qingxiang. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming moved quickly along the ground. He used the obstacles on the ground to hide himself. The other party did not notice him. Lu Ming successfully rushed into the cave. The cave was pitch black. It was unfathomably deep. Lu Ming slowly slid down along one side of the wall. After sliding down for tens of thousands of meters, they finally reached the bottom of the cave. There was a tunnel at the bottom of the cave. It was a few thousand meters tall, and the walls were inlaid with luminous stones that emitted a faint glow. Lu Ming dashed into the passageway and kept moving forward. Someone's here. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and he hurriedly hid in a groove on the wall. The walls of the passageway were uneven. Some places were protruding while others were concave. It was very easy to hide. After they hid well, a few figures flashed through the tunnel. Lu Ming could clearly see that it was a group of old men. They should have gone to help deal with Ouyang Qingxiang. They were in a hurry and didn't notice Lu Ming. After the few elders left, Lu Ming continued to head toward the passageway. Not long after, Lu Ming passed through the passageway and arrived at a huge underground space. That is, when Lu Ming arrived, he was stunned. The underground space was very vast. At the front, there was a huge stone staircase that was tens of thousands of meters tall. At the top of the staircase was a palace that looked like the legendary Dragon Palace. At the bottom of the staircase, there were a few figures standing. Lu Ming immediately saw that one of them was the Great Hong Saint. There were also two other people. They were two old men. The two of you, go out together and take down that bitch Ouyang Qingxiang. The Great Hong Saint's cold voice rang out. But Saint, once we go out, you will be the only one left here. One of the old men said hesitantly, It's fine. I'm about to climb the sacred dragon staircase. On the sacred dragon staircase, no matter who it is, they will be under terrifying pressure. They will also be protected. No one can harm me if they come in. Put it down. The Great Hong Saint waved his hand. All right, then we'll go out. The two old men nodded, and with a flash of their figures, they rushed outside. The Great Hong Saint looked at the staircase with a fiery glow in his eyes. I don't believe that I can't climb it. I can definitely do it. The Great Hong Saint growled. His body swelled up and transformed into the form of a dragon human. Golden divine power emanated from his body as he stepped onto the staircase. Bam! When the Great Hong Saint stepped onto the staircase, there was a loud boom. It was as if a mountain had crashed onto the ground. The Tianhong Saint landed steadily on the first step. Then, he stepped forward and stepped onto the second step. With every step he took, the staircase would rumble. It was as if every step he took was extremely heavy. There is indeed a strong pressure on the staircase. Lu Ming pondered. He took a look and understood what was going on. He had encountered this type of test many times. The Great Skyhong Sage's speed was very fast at the start. Before long, he had crossed half the distance and his speed started to slow down. Clearly, the further he went, the greater the pressure he was under. Roar! A dragon's roar came from the Great Hong Saint's body. The golden dragon scales on his body shone even more brightly. He looked determined as he slowly climbed step by step. Unfortunately, after a while, the Great Hong Saint's body seemed to have stopped moving. I don't believe it. I don't believe that I can't go up. My dragon blood, boil for me. The Great Hong Saint roared. The surface of his body was suffused with a blood-red glow. A six-clawed divine dragon appeared above his head. He even used the divine dragon Dharma body. As a result, the Great Hong Saint was able to continue climbing. Unfortunately, when he was two-thirds of the way up the staircase, he stopped completely. He could not take another step. Damn it. Why? Could it be that my divine dragon bloodline is not rich enough? Why? The Great Hong Saint roared. He was extremely indignant. Is there the complete divine dragon Dharma body technique up there? Lu Ming guessed. Since the Great Hong Saint wanted to climb the staircase so badly, there was a high possibility that the complete divine dragon Dharma body technique was up there. Closer. Lu Ming followed the obstacles at the side and slowly approached the staircase. He was getting closer and closer to the palace above the staircase. At this moment, Lu Ming actually felt that his blood was slowly boiling. At the same time, there was a thirst. Yes, it was a thirst. It was a feeling that appeared automatically in his blood. It was as if there was something on the staircase that deeply attracted Lu Ming. I must go to the top of the palace, Lu Ming muttered. His gaze was resolute. He had made up his mind. There was a strong pressure on the staircase. The others seemed unable to go up. The Great Hong Saint also did not have the strength to attack. Lu Ming was not afraid. Chapter 28:10. Lu Ming made up his mind. He wanted to go up. Lu Ming was a decisive person. Since he had made up his mind, he would not hesitate. He had no time to hesitate. If Ouyang Qingxiang could not hold the Skybright Saint's men back, he would be in trouble when the experts returned. Swoosh! Lu Ming did not hesitate any longer. He rushed out and headed for the stairs. The moment Lu Ming rushed out, the Skybright Saint noticed Lu Ming. Lu Ming, it's you. The Skybright Saint roared, his killing intent exploding. However, he was on the stairs. He could not kill Lu Ming even if he wanted to. Bam! Lu Ming landed heavily on the first step of the stairs. There was a loud boom. Immediately, Lu Ming sensed a powerful force coming from above the stairs. It was as though the mountains and seas were overturning. It was pressing toward Lu Ming, wanting to blast him out of the stairs. Humph. You want to climb the Saint Dragon stairs without the divine dragon bloodline? You are daydreaming. The Skybright Saint sneered and took a few steps down. He was waiting for Lu Ming to be blasted off the Saint Dragon stairs. Then, he would kill Lu Ming. This time, he wanted Lu Ming to die a horrible death. However, in the next moment, his body stiffened. Lu Ming was not blasted off the stairs as he had expected. Instead, he was standing steadily on the stairs. You have the divine dragon bloodline? The Skybright Saint asked in a gloomy voice. In this world, the dragon human tribe is not the only one with the divine dragon bloodline. Lu Ming smiled faintly. It turned out that only those with the divine dragon bloodline could climb the stairs. If one did not have the divine dragon bloodline, they would be blasted off the stairs by the power of the stairs. When Lu Ming stepped on the stairs, he was almost blasted off. At the critical moment, the 9 dragons' blood essence in his blood boiled, allowing him to stand on the stairs. So what if you have the divine dragon bloodline? Can you climb up? If you can't climb up, you'll die when you're exhausted, the Tianhong Saint said coldly. Then, he strode down the stairs. As he walked back, he was very relaxed. Soon, the Tianhong Saint reached the first step and came to Lu Ming's side. However, there was a force guarding the steps, so he could not attack Lu Ming. Glancing at Lu Ming with murderous intent, the Heavenly Hong Saint stepped out of the staircase and landed outside, guarding it. He was waiting for Lu Ming to be exhausted and fall down. Then, he could make a move to kill Lu Ming. You can just wait patiently. Lu Ming smiled contemptuously, then turned around and strode up the stairs. Bang, bang, bang. With every step he took, the stairs would rumble. Lu Ming's speed was very fast. Very soon, he had taken a few hundred steps. He was even faster than the Tianhong Saint. This kid, how is he so fast? The Tianhong Saint's face was ghastly. The pressure is getting stronger, and the difficulty is getting higher. This kid definitely can't go up. He definitely can't. The Tianhong Saint roared in his heart. He was a supreme talent of the dragon human race. The divine dragon bloodline in his body was very thick, comparable to the 6-clawed divine dragon. He did not believe that Lu Ming, a human, could have a thicker divine dragon bloodline than him. However, reality slapped him in the face. Lu Ming's speed did not slow down at all. Soon, he was halfway up the stairs. Then, he was halfway up the stairs. This was already the Tianhong Saint's limit. However, Lu Ming had reached this point in one breath. At this point, Lu Ming's speed slowed down. The pressure here was already very shocking. The blood in Lu Ming's body was circulating rapidly as if it was going to burn. Roar. A dragon's roar came from the blood. A lifelike 9 dragons shuttled back and forth in the blood. There was a layer of blood mist on the surface of Lu Ming's body. Then, the blood mist gathered in the air to form 9 dragons that roared into the sky. 9-clawed dragon. This is a 9-clawed dragon. The Tianhong Saint roared in disbelief. He was so shocked that he almost jumped up. He would never have dreamed that Lu Ming's body actually contained the highest grade 9-clawed dragon bloodline among the divine dragons. No wonder this kid can walk so fast. It turns out that his body contains the 9-clawed dragon bloodline. If I can take the 9-clawed dragon bloodline from his body and use it for my own use, my talents will increase many times over. At this thought, the Tianhong Saint's eyes were filled with greed. The 9 dragons appeared, and the pressure on Lu Ming lessened. His speed increased again. Soon, Lu Ming was only 100 steps away from the end of the stairs. However, the pressure on the last 100 steps was also the most terrifying. Lu Ming's body trembled with every step he took. Divine Dragon Aspect Art. Lu Ming roared and activated the Divine Dragon Aspect Art. An 8-clawed divine dragon appeared above his head. The 8-clawed divine dragon roared and pounced forward to help Lu Ming break through the pressure on the stairs. Instantly, the pressure was lifted again, and Lu Ming quickly ascended. Divine Dragon Aspect Art. Damn it! At the sight of Lu Ming using the Divine Dragon Aspect technique, the Heavenly Hong Saint gritted his teeth. He was both shocked and jealous. How long had it been? Lu Ming had mastered the divine dragon aspect art and even cultivated an 8-clawed divine dragon. He had been cultivating the divine dragon aspect art for tens of thousands of years, but he had only cultivated a 6-clawed divine dragon aspect art. This made him even more greedy for Lu Ming's 9 dragons bloodline. Bam! Bam! The rumbling of the stairs continued. Lu Ming was getting closer and closer to the top of the stairs. As for the Tianhong Saint, his face darkened. With the last rumbling sound, Lu Ming successfully stepped onto the platform above the stairs. At the top of the stairs was a majestic palace. The doors of the palace were open, and he could not see what was inside. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Without hesitation, he strode forward and walked through the doors. After stepping through the doors, the light suddenly brightened. Lu Ming could clearly see the situation behind the doors. Behind the doors was a spacious hall. There was nothing else in the hall. It was empty. Lu Ming looked around but did not discover anything. However, the center of the hall attracted Lu Ming's attention. In the middle of the hall, there was a 1-meter-tall stone pillar. Above the stone pillar, a scroll was suspended, emitting a gentle light. Strangely, there was a small divine dragon outside the scroll. It was formed by energy and flew around the scroll. Could it be the complete divine dragon aspect art? Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he stepped forward. Lad, there is a defensive array on the scroll. Guillemot reminded him. There is a defensive array? How do I break it? Lu Ming asked. It's very simple. You have the blood essence of the 9-clawed dragon in your body. You just need to drip a drop of blood on the scroll, and you will be able to break the array on it. Guillemot said, That's easy. Lu Ming immediately forced out a drop of blood and dripped it onto the scroll. Chapter 28:11. When Lu Ming's blood dripped onto the scroll, a dragon's roar came from the scroll. Then, the scroll emitted a dazzling light. After a long while, the light disappeared. Below the stairs, the Tianhong Saint Sun was extremely anxious. Suddenly, he heard the dragon's roar and the light emitted from the scroll. The Tianhong Saint Sun became even more anxious. Damn it! Could that brat have already obtained the complete divine dragon aspect art? The Tianhong Saint Sun thought anxiously. Then, he moved and rushed up the stairs. However, the strong pressure on the stairs made him stop very quickly. He could only retreat unwillingly. I'll wait here. Lu Ming, even if you have the complete divine dragon aspect art, you're just paving the way for me. Haha, that's good too. It saves me a lot of trouble. The Tianhong Saint Sun sneered. Thinking of this, his mood became better. In the hall, when the light on the scroll disappeared, Lu Ming reached out and grabbed the scroll. There was nothing strange. Lu Ming opened the scroll expectantly. There were many small words on the scroll, densely packed. Lu Ming looked at it carefully. After a long while, Lu Ming put down the scroll. The complete divine dragon aspect art. It's really the complete divine dragon aspect art. Lu Ming's face was filled with ecstasy. This scroll indeed recorded the complete divine dragon transcendence art. It was incomparably mysterious, much more so than the incomplete divine dragon transcendence art. If he could cultivate it to greater mastery, its power would definitely be shocking. It could become Lu Ming's trump card, even surpassing the ice shackles. How should I go down? After putting away the scroll, Lu Ming started thinking. The Tianhong Saint Sun must be guarding below the stairs. If he went down the stairs, the Tianhong Saint Sun would definitely not let him go. Forget it. I'll wait for a while. If there's really no other way, I'll just cultivate here for a while. I wonder how Holy Lady Qingxiang is doing? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind, and then he started to wander around the palace. There were other doors around the palace, and Lu Ming walked around but didn't find anything. Following this, Lu Ming walked towards the innermost door. Behind the innermost door was a long corridor. After passing through the corridor, a beam of light suddenly shot down from above. Lu Ming looked up and found that it was a door of light. The light came from the door of light. Could this be a teleportation gate? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This is a teleportation gate. It should be a back path that leads to the outside world. Bone's voice rang out. Haha, The heavens are really helping me. Tianhong, just wait patiently. Lu Ming laughed and then soared into the sky, rushing towards the door of light. Lu Ming's figure disappeared into the light gate. In the next moment, Lu Ming appeared in a canyon. I'm out. I'm really out. I'll go find Holy Lady Qingxiang now. Lu Ming turned into a beam of light and left the place. This canyon wasn't far from the entrance. Soon, Lu Ming heard a violent explosion coming from the front. Ouyang Qingxiang was fighting fiercely with a group of experts. There were more than 10 old men, all of them in the heavenly god realm. Among them, there were even 1 or 2 in the heavenly god realm. There were also a few in the heavenly god realm. Facing so many experts, Ouyang Qingxiang mainly focused on defense. She wasn't at a disadvantage at all. Lu Ming flew over and shouted from a distance, "Holy Lady Qingxiang, let's go." Seeing Lu Ming suddenly appear from behind, Ouyang Qingxiang was obviously stunned. She was very surprised. Lu Ming had clearly entered the cave from the entrance. Why did he suddenly run to the back? However, she didn't think too much about it and began to attack. Green Lotus Sword Song. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted and waved her long sword. Green lotuses appeared in the air, each of them bursting with terrifying sword chi, forcing the old men to retreat. Ouyang Qingxiang took the opportunity to break out of the encirclement and flew towards Lu Ming. Should we chase after them? An old man asked. Ouyang Qingxiang is too strong. Even if we catch up with them, we can't do anything to her. Our duty is to guard this place and report this situation to the saint. Another old man said. All right. The others nodded. They didn't know that Lu Ming had sneaked in and even obtained the complete divine dragon aspect art that the great Sky Hong saint yearned for. If they knew, they wouldn't have let Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang leave so easily. An old man rushed into the cave to report to the great Sky Hong saint. Ouyang Qingxiang had already come to Lu Ming's side. Let's go back to the Kongxian school, Lu Ming said. Ouyang Qingxiang didn't ask any more questions. She soared into the sky with Lu Ming, took out the space battleship, and left the Dragon Head Star. The great Sky Hong saint was still guarding at the bottom of the stairs. Kid, let's see how long you can stay here. The great Sky Hong saint snorted. His eyes were filled with killing intent and fire. After a while, an old man rushed in hurriedly. How is it? How's that bitch Ouyang Qingxiang? The great Sky Hong saint asked. She's gone. She left. The old man replied. She left? You guys are really useless. If I wasn't here, I would have suppressed her personally. The great Sky Hong saint snorted. The old man's face turned ugly. Is it just Ouyang Qingxiang alone? Is there anyone else? The great Sky Hong saint asked. Yes, there's someone else. It's Lu Ming. He left with Saint Qingxiang, the old man said. However, before the old man could finish, the great Sky Hong saint shouted in disbelief. What? What did you say? You said it's Lu Ming? The great Sky Hong saint jumped up and stared at the old man as though he was going to eat him alive. The old man was shocked. He didn't understand why the great Sky Hong saint had such a huge reaction when he heard Lu Ming's name. He was confused. Did you see clearly? Is that really Lu Ming and not someone else? The great Sky Hong saint asked with his eyes wide open. There's no mistake. It's definitely Lu Ming. The old man said firmly. Damn it. Damn it. There's still a path up there. Damn it. Chase, chase. The great Sky Hong saint roared. He turned into a beam of light and chased after them. After reaching the outside of the cave, the great Sky Hong saint led his subordinates and chased in the direction of the Kongxian school. However, it was too late. Lu Ming and the rest were already far away. In the space battleship. Lu Ming, have you obtained the complete divine dragon aspect technique? Ouyang Qingxiang asked curiously. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. He didn't hide anything and told Ouyang Qingxiang what happened in the cave. This time, I have to thank Saint Qingxiang for her help. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for me to get it. If Saint Qingxiang needs help in the future, feel free to ask. Lu Ming won't refuse. Lu Ming said, You're welcome. However, I'm afraid the great Sky Hong saint will know about it soon and will come after us. He's bent on getting the complete version of the divine dragon aspect technique. Now that you have it, I'm afraid he'll go crazy. We have to hurry back to the Kongxian school and make preparations, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming nodded. Chapter 28:12. After more than a month of traveling, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang finally returned to the Kongxian school. After returning to the Kongxian school, Lu Ming immediately brought in Hai, Lu Chong, and Zhao Feng to Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. Autumn Moon is still in the Divine Vein Tower. I hope she won't come out during this time. Lu Ming pondered. However, Lu Ming was very low-key when he brought Autumn Moon to the Kongxian school. Not many people knew that Autumn Moon was related to him, so she should be fine. After Ouyang Qingxiang returned to her residence, she gathered many experts belonging to her faction and stationed them at her mountain. Not long after Lu Ming's group returned, the Skybright Saint Sun also returned. The moment he returned, he rushed to Lu Ming's residence. When he didn't find Lu Ming, he went to Hai's residence. The residence of Lu Chong and the others was also empty. You must be hiding at that bitch Ouyang Qingxiang's place. Don't think you'll be fine hiding there. If you don't hand over the Divine Dragon Aspect technique, I'll kill you even if you hide to the ends of the earth. The Skybright Saint Sun roared in anger. Then, he gathered a large number of experts and charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. What is the Skybright Saint Sun planning to do by gathering so many experts? Something big must have happened. He's heading towards Saint Qingxiang's residence. Does he want to start a war with her? Quick, inform the Saint Sun. The Skybright Saint Sun gathered so many experts and charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. Naturally, he couldn't hide it from others. The other Saint Sun factions quickly found out, and many people rushed toward Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. At Ouyang Qingxiang's residence, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were discussing something. They're here. An old woman suddenly spoke and looked outside. This old woman was an inner elder belonging to Ouyang Qingxiang's faction. Her strength was extremely shocking. They're really fast. Let's go out and welcome them. Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. They walked out of the courtyard and stood in the air. Rumble. In the distance, there was a rumbling explosion. Then, a terrifying wave of divine power surged toward them like a powerful army. However, there were many experts gathered at Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. Their auras surged into the sky like smoke, defeating the surging waves of divine power. A black mass of people appeared on the horizon. There were at least 1,000 of them. The person in the lead was the Tianhong Saint. The Tianhong Saint brought his people and stopped 1,000 miles away. Lu. The Tianhong Saint Sun's gaze landed on Lu Ming. It was filled with murderous intent and greed. Tianhong, what are you trying to do by bringing so many people here in such an aggressive manner? Ouyang Qingxiang knew the answer. What? It's very simple. Hand Lu Ming over to me. I'll leave with him immediately. The Tianhong Saint said. Saint Sun, Saint Sun. It's ridiculous. Lu Ming is also a saint. Not everyone can take him away as they wish. Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. Today, I must take Lu Ming away. Whoever stops me will be my enemy. I will not hesitate to fight. The Saint Sun said coldly. Lu Ming had not only taken away the complete Divine Dragon Aspect art, but he also had the 9-clawed dragon bloodline. To the Saint Sun, Lu Ming was a huge treasure trove. As long as he could obtain Lu Ming's 9-clawed dragon bloodline and the complete Divine Dragon Aspect art, his combat strength would definitely rise to an astonishing level. He could even surpass the Paragon Saint and become the first saint of the Kongxian school. In that case, the position of the future sect master of the Kongxian school would be in his bag. At the thought of this, his heart was burning with passion. He must get Lu Ming. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Ouyang Qingxiang was extremely domineering. Good, very good. In that case, I'll break into your sect today. Attack and take down Lu Ming. The Saint Sun roared. Boom, 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 boom. The experts of the Tenho Seiko faction and Ouyang Qingxiang's factions erupted with terrifying auras. They clashed in the void, causing shockwaves to fill the sky. There were many inner elders among them, and they were all peak heavenly gods. At this moment, their auras clashed and shook the heavens and earth. Then, a few figures soared into the sky. In an instant, they had rushed out of the atmosphere and started fighting in the starry sky. Peak heavenly gods were too terrifying. If they were to fight in the atmosphere, the destruction to the earth would be unimaginable. Kill. The strongest people fought outside the starry sky. The Saint Sun and the others charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang and Lu Ming.
Attack.
Ouyang Qingxiang and the others did not retreat and charged forward. Ouyang Qingxiang once again clashed with the great Skyhong Saint. Take down Lu Ming. Take him down. Several heavenly gods rushed toward Lu Ming. Fortunately, there were experts on Ouyang Qingxiang's side who stayed by Lu Ming's side and blocked the other party's attack. Thousands of experts from both sides fought fiercely. This area was already surrounded by people. Even the Saint Sun Jixia and Saint Shuetan came personally. What happened? Why did the Saint Sun bring people to fight with Ouyang Qingxiang? Saint Sun Jixia asked, full of doubts. I don't know, but it must be something big. Otherwise, the Saint Sun wouldn't be so crazy. He wants to take down Lu Ming. I guess Lu Ming has offended him again, Saint Shuetan said. However, they would not go out to stop it. They could not wait for the Saint Sun and Ouyang Qingxiang to fight. It would be best if both sides were injured. Then, their competition would be smaller. The battle was getting more and more intense. Some people even died. Boom! At this moment, a huge hand suddenly appeared in the starry sky. This gigantic hand was boundlessly huge, and it pressed down on the inner court elders who were in the midst of a fierce battle. Deity King. The inner elders screamed in horror. Then, they were pressed down by the huge hand. They were blasted into the atmosphere like meteorites and fell to the ground. Then, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky, exuding a terrifying and boundless pressure. It pressed down on the Saint Sun and Ouyang Qingxiang's factions. The people of the two factions were directly imprisoned in the air by this force, unable to move. Kid, the Deity King has appeared. I have to hide. Gumo's voice sounded, then entered Jing Yu's portrait and disappeared. The Deity King. What a terrifying pressure. Lu Ming looked at the figure in the sky, full of shock. At this moment, his body could not move at all under the pressure of that pressure. Not to mention him, even the high-level heavenly gods could not move at all. It's the Deputy Hall Master of the Tribunal Council, someone exclaimed. The Saint Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others' eyes turned serious. Obviously, their battle had alarmed the Tribunal Council. Even the Deputy Hall Master of the Tribunal Council, who was a Deity King, had personally come. As saints and saintesses, you actually led your fellow disciples to kill each other. What a scandal. The Deputy Hall Master of the Tribunal Council said sternly, You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.